1-0 the scoreline at the end of the match. Southgate's record from opening games at major tournaments now 4 wins from 4. As I say, Graeme Souness is alongside Simon and myself. Graeme, is it simple enough? Job done for England?
Yeah, I think they got the job done. I thought they played well for half an hour. I'm not sure Gareth is saying they run out of steam. You know, there was 2 teams on the pitch. The other team certainly didn't run out of steam. I thought they were aggressive. You know, the Serbs got after them, and that was something I had to confront. But I just feel watching them, you've made such a good start. You got an early-ish goal, and then they sort of backed off the game a bit. Whether that was because the Serbs upped their game or England dropped off it. I mean, I've been in many games where subconsciously you goal up and you're not stepping forward as much. But I think they could certainly manage the game better, Jim. You know, they didn't offer. You know, when you're in a game like that, you're 1-0 up. It's about, they're going to come after you. That's the time to pick them off. Or it's about, if you are not getting the attacks that you want developing in your game, then keep the ball better. Don't give it away, because if you constantly give the ball away at that level, you will get ultimately punished. And they got away with it a wee bit yesterday. I think overall it was a victory, and it's paramount that you do win your first game, because losing it puts you under all sorts of pressure.
Exactly.
But I thought they just done enough. I wouldn't be critical of them, because it is the first game. I don't buy into it that they were tired because of the effort they put in the first part. They're professional footballers. They've had a rest, or they've not had a. I see this morning people are offering up the excuse that that's because they've not played for a couple of weeks. They have to get up to speed. People are quick to offer up the argument that they played too much football. I think they would have been in a perfect physical condition yesterday. I think it was a mentality issue where they go 1-0 up and think, subconsciously we're not, we don't need to get another goal. But that's not what this England team should be about. I think they've got some fabulous players. I don't think the front 3 turned up. I don't think Harry Kane did very much. That Saka didn't do very much.
Saka, he was getting applauded where we were. I mean, no. I mean, he
first 30
good.
minutes he was, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, does it really matter, Graeme? They got the win. They got the win. Does the manner of the win really matter?
That's the point. It doesn't matter.
No.
They've got a win, but it wasn't a convincing win.
Yeah.
I just think they're so much better than what we saw last night. And I don't buy into, they weren't up to speed. I don't buy into the use all that energy in the first game. Give Serbia some credit. They never rolled over. They kept on it.
They kept at it. Yeah.
It's a win. It's a win.
I mean, Simon, did you detect some familiar frailties looking at it over the 90 minutes?
Well, I think if you wanted to manage the nation's expectations, that second half performance would have achieved it. Because what you can't go is overboard. You can't say, oh, well, hang on a second, we've got a world-beating side here. What we saw was a functional side. We saw a side that did its job. It got past. And it had reminiscence of the Croatian game in 2018, where in the second half they came out stronger, and England seemed to retreat and go back further and further and offer very little and didn't change very much. They got through. I mean, if you're looking at the performance and you're saying, what does it represent? It represents 6.5 out of 10, job done, 1-0, move on to the next game. If you wanted to see a team making a statement. You saw that with the Germans against Graham's lot on Friday, albeit it wasn't much of an opposition to make a statement against. And then you look at the reality of the game that England overcame. In the second half, I think we got away with a few things, and a few players out there were way away from where I think they are. What I think Southgate is referring to when he talks about players, he's talking about players that haven't played all season, that haven't had as much games, whereas Stones and people like that may not be as match fit as he was suggesting that he would like them to be. I mean, if you want to,
but that's not where the energy is needed. The energy is needed in the midfield and up front. It's all about putting the ball under pressure, being able to keep the ball under pressure. And I just felt for England last night there was not a lot of game management. You're 1-0 up. You know that they're going to come after you. You know they're going to expose themselves because they're going to chase the game. I didn't see any really cute understanding of how to manage a game at that time when I come back to I played in midfield. I look at that midfield. I didn't see cute, clever game management. In your business, your other business, your many businesses, ringcraft. I didn't see that. where the game goes, where the flow of the game is going. I didn't see that from England's midfield. Funnily
enough, Bild's the same. The newspaper over here in Germany. Bellingham, the only one who stands out. Per Mertesacker described England as having put in a very weak performance. Marca, Spanish news agency, Bellingham and little else. I mean, they're all having a bit of a swipe, aren't they?
Well, England have some really good attacking players that get you on the edge of your seat. You know, Phil Foden, Saka. You know, Harry when he's on it. I didn't see very much from them last night. I'm not sure if the midfield of Trent or how you wanted him to play really worked last night.
Did it work? No, not for you.
Well, I think what's the idea? You want Trent in there because he's got every club in the bag. You know, he can drop the ball in a sixpence. Didn't get a chance to do that, or just didn't do it last night. So I can't say that particularly worked well, because when I look at a game of football, Jim, I look at midfield first and foremost, and midfield players. And I was thinking, you're 1-0 up. Now's the game. Your midfield players should be lending the ball out, getting it back, making them run around, frustrate them. But I've just seen England give it away a lot unnecessarily. I didn't see a midfield that was pressing that well. I didn't see an England midfield that really stood up to the physical challenge that, you've got to put a few of them on their arse. That's the bottom line. I don't know what other way to say it. If they come after you, really? Yeah. It's England, remember that.
Right.
English are up for the cup in that department. I didn't see that last night against an aggressive Serbian team. So I think he's got food for thought going forward.
Would you persist with Trent in midfield going forward?
I'm not sure if I would.
Simon, I mean, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold might take a little bit of time to bed in, but he was part of.
Why do you say bed in?
Well, you don't think that they can hit the ground running? You think they should all hit the ground running?
Well, I come back to it. People offer arguments about up to speed because they've haven't played a game for 3 weeks, or they've played too much football. That's why they're tired. These are finely tuned athletes. They would have been bang on it last night. This is not about the fitness, either way, tired or not fit enough. They would have been bang on it. They would have been 100% ready for that game last night. And they lost their way for a large part of it in the second half.
Do you not lose a little bit match sharpness, Graeme, from the end of a season to a tournament?
I don't think you do, not in that period of time.
No.
And you mentioned John Stones not playing a lot of football, but that's more of a position for concentration levels.
I think the bottom line is if you can play not particularly well and come out with a result, then that's equally as telling. Because sometimes teams will lose games in a way that would be more disappointing than not playing well. And getting a result out of a game is actually something you can gain something from, because you've got more to go. You can go through different levels.
Yeah.
And what was interesting and what was appealing is that England started the game well. They started the game as you would want them to start. And often the criticism is that we don't start that way, and we allow the opposition, whoever they may be, to get a good look at us before we start having a good look at them in terms of putting it on them. And what I wanted, and what myself and Graeme spoke about, and what I spoke to other people about, was the idea that England's front six are very, very strong, so we should be putting it upon the opposition and asking them questions. And whilst it felt a bit pedestrian at times in the first set. England controlled the game, they controlled the possession, they created opportunities.
They were good for half an hour, very good for half an hour.
And that was a surprising part. So Graham's point is that psychologically something went off the boil, something went amiss. And what that was, according to Southgate, was people running out of energy. I'm with Graeme, I'm not entirely sure that's the greatest of excuses, but we don't really need an excuse.
Was ist das? talkSPORT?